today we won't have the drama we had on Tuesday when we had Tsepi Nick Tipe to share with us the story of his business, Kasi Ceilings and Cornice Pty Limited, that trades as Kasi Home, established in April 2016 in a container as a reseller of polysterenes and cornices. Now, Kasi Home is a township-based design manufacturer, an interior home product supply and installation company. And that's our quickie tonight. The man himself, Tsepi Nick Tipe, who's also, I must say, a great fan of the show, and we truly appreciate that. Tsepi joins me on the line. Good evening, mate. How are you?
Good evening, Mr. Ramzan. How are you?
I'm dark and lovely. Thank you for asking. So,
Yeah.
I've done a little bit of an intro of your business, but
Yes.
I'm always interested in how people start a business. We all either go to school and then start a business, or go to school, go to work for someone, and then get angry and start a business. How did you start this KCC? Kasi Home.
Okay. My name is Tepo Nick Tipe. I was born in Pretoria, raised in Limpopo. After my matric, I came back to Pretoria to continue the hustle. But the aim coming here was to go to school. Like I love reading. I love getting knowledge and educated. But unfortunately, things went the other way instead of going straight. So I started working somewhere in a retail as a packer. And then from there, I resigned to go study at UNISA part-time law. And then things didn't go well. I became homeless, dropped out of UNISA. And then from there, I started hustling, going to library, just to read, to keep my mind fresh. And then one day, I was just walking around the street, looking for some food in some dustbins. And then I just saw two gentlemen waiting outside a manufacturing factory. It was a new factory in 2013. And I was just interested and curious to see what they're making inside. I went to that factory, and then I asked for a job, which they asked me if I can speak Afrikaans. I can tell you, I didn't know a single word of Afrikaans. At that time, I said I can speak to Africans because, so you always hear them prating, but you don't take it serious until you come to the real life. Or almost those ways they used to say actually now make sense. And then I asked for a job. They gave me that job. I was actually working at the back of the factory, cleaning after the guys when they manufacture. That company was actually started by a guy, and there were only 4 of them. So I was just cleaning after every guy's day team. By a manufacturer, I have to clean and look around. But because I had a knowledge of where I want to see myself and the background of where I'm coming from, I didn't want to go back to the streets again. So I was learning. After 6 months in that company, I was promoted to a salesman, to a sales point. And then from there, I started learning about the product. And what interested me in the product and how it started was the consumers that come and buy that product. Majority of them, they were from townships. And that factory is based in central of Pretoria. So you have people coming from Hammanskraal, Rangua, Mamelodi, in Soshanguve, and as far as some come from Joburg. So when you check the majority of those people, from township. And then I was curious, like, why do you guys come all the way far to come and buy this product here? And then they told me how cheap it is compared to township. And that's where the idea sparked, I can start buying reject cornices because they look nice, go back to the township and sell them in a less market prices. And that's what I started. I was working, and then I took half of my salary. I bought the reject stock, and then I transferred them to Soshanguve. So my best friend, Katlego Moropane, started selling them in a container. Then that's where I realized there's a market for them, because for that month, I think we make around 15,000 rand from selling reject cornices.
And we started. I'm sure you did not earn that much at that time.
I was actually earning around 3,500 rand to my surprise. And I was working 6 days. We're talking from 7:30 until 5:30 in the evening. You don't have lunch in between, so you just eat on the chill and working. So for me, that experience, I was like, you know what, maybe since I started in a container, let me see if I can go full time into this thing. Then I started in 2014 selling those cornices. And then in 2016, we started going full time, but I was still working because I have to meet the basic of my needs until I realized, no, man, there's a business. And actually, the business in this cornices market, it's when you manufacture yourself and sell, because now you're not competing with anyone in terms of pricing. You know, these guys realize that I'm selling cornices and I'm making 100% profit on those products. So they increase their prices. Obviously. And then they told me, you know what, Tepo, what you're doing actually is conflict of interest. But before they didn't have a problem because they were not aware I will sell so much cornices. They told me, no, you're making conflict of interest, so you should stop selling those cornices and decide whether you want to work or go. Then, because by that time, being afraid to go back to the street, I told them, no, I will stop everything, I will work. And then when I go back to Soshanguve, I told the guys, you know what, we're going to continue selling. We're not stopping anything here. And then at some point, they find out that I was still continuing selling cornices. It was Wednesday and I got fired around 2017. They fired me around 10 a.m. I won't even forget that time in the morning. I was fired. Actually, they gave me two choices. We sue you or we fire you and we don't give you any cents. Then I decided, you know what, my entrepreneurship journey started when I was 9 years until when I was 17 years. I used to sell peanuts. My family never gave me a cent since from 9 years. I used to buy peanuts, sell them, and until 17 years. So I told them, you know what, you can fire me. I will go, then I'll just come back and buy from you guys. But then I got fired. From there, yeah, that's how everything started to pop in. You know, we started going fully into the businesses. And then
so what is that what you still do now? Do you guys still produce cornices? Is that your business now?
Yeah, it's our business, but we expanded in terms of product in our showroom because we moved from container to a building. And then we started going through YouTube, me and my business partner, Katle, or the guy I started with. We started going through YouTube, learning how to make furniture and kitchen units. So we expanded the product line in terms of our product. But on cornices, we still supply some of the hardware stores around Soshanguve.
Okay, your network is beginning to fail us, so let's get quickly to conclude the conversation. So, who should be talking to you? Who are your typical clients?
My typical clients are homeowners, people that want to turn their houses into homes. Those are our clients, and even installers. We are not in competition with installers. We install ourselves, but we are not in competition with installers. What we're trying to do with installers, we give them a better price so that they can start making money from the initial offer sales where they buy products to the final product of installation. So we give them better product so that they can give their customers a better price also and still benefit from the product and the installation.
I'll tell you what, the line has failed us, but fortunately, because we pre-recorded this thing, we have put all your products on the screen, we've put all your contact details on the screen. We will make sure people get hold of Kasi Homes and that you can grow that business. I love your story, and I know now when I say to you, Baya Danki, you'll understand me because now you understand Afrikaans. Well, I think we have.
I didn't hear that. My network.
But that was our quickie tonight. It's a beautiful story to tell, mate. We shall repeat your story again and again and again. Thank you so much for chatting to us tonight, and all the best with your business.
Thank you. I appreciate the chance.
story did not inspire you, nothing will ever inspire you. I say so without fear of contradiction. The story of Tsepang Nick Tipe is a story of success. A man who did not give up because of his circumstances. I must apologize to the YouTube viewers. We will send you the link to that conversation we just had with him. It was pre-recorded. And that's how actually we're going to have all our quickies in the future, so that we then don't break two interviews in one. We can then play it as a pre-record. Thank you for all the comments on Facebook. I know you're complaining about the sound. Freddie had just gone on strike, and I had to pay him quickly so that he can put my voice back on and that you can all hear me. And I saw that a lot of people were asking about Nick's or Tsepang's digits. Well, we had them on the screen, and if you were watching, you should have seen them. But anyway, if you did not see them, we shall post them again for you. So back to our opportunity story tonight. Buy Township movement led by Mahapa Mpitso is calling on retailers, rather manufacturers, micro manufacturers in villages and townships to come together so that as a collective, they can be helped to get their product on shelf. I have said this a million times, without a market, without shelf space, you got no business. You can produce all you like. If you have no space to sell it, if I cannot see it when I go to a filling station or a supermarket or a wholesaler, you're in trouble. So I like what Mahapa is coming about, and I'm hoping that by the time we finish here, all of us will have this opportunity to put our product on big shelves. Tata Mahapa, I'm glad that you found your data tonight. Good evening.
Even wearing a mask. Good evening to you.
You don't have to wear a mask. You're safe enough, but I know you're wearing it because it serves the purpose in this conversation. Tell us more about this campaign.
Yes. Rams and the listeners.
We now call them viewers.
And all the viewers, the campaign is mainly to say in our townships and villages, we've got micro manufacturers. They manufacture almost every other item that you can find that the consumer in the township and the villages uses, from as basic as ice cubes to toilet paper and even soap. So you have all these products that the consumers in our townships and villages require, and they buy every time, but none of them are from the townships. So we're sitting with a lot of SMMEs, as you're saying, that are looking for a market, and the market exists within their community, but they're not benefiting out of that market, nor are they actually able to sell to that market because their products are not on the shelf.
The challenge, though, in Tata Mahapa, is I mean, I can imagine a number of challenges. One is making sure that you can coordinate all these people that produce this stuff. I mean, I know that through Buy Township already there are people I can see on your desk who produce soap, who produce sanitizers, who produce masks, all those things. And I know you also produce coffee, which I have since become addicted to in the last few months. I always say that the first problem is gathering the people, finding them wherever they are, and making sure that then you can put the product on the shelf. The second problem would be packaging. A micro manufacturer may produce amazing muhlonyane or lengana, that could help us from COVID, but they could battle with putting it in great packaging that then a big retailer would be happy to put on the shelves. How do we bridge those gaps?
Rams, I'm sitting and answering your first question. We've got several of these products already that we put together. We've worked with several SMMEs and micro manufacturers. As you say, the products are just sitting with 10 items here. They're quality packaging. There is no way that this would not pass the grade, and they do. So that level and that aspect of it, most of our micro enterprises have made sure that they can cover that. Yes, there is still a lot of work to do for the rest of new products. Yesterday, you're talking about a partnership between UBank and BBC. They're talking about funding, and they're talking about funding who? The township and village entrepreneurs. We are saying those are the people that should be putting their money where their mouth is, in the townships, to support those entities. And we believe that's what we're gonna have to do, to knock on their doors and make that happen.
I was actually going to ask you
now,
about
going back to about finding them, as I say, we've got them. The packaging is looking good. Say that again?
No, continue.
Okay, so we're saying if you walk into any township, the first thing you see, except for people and cars, is a petrol station. Now, all these petrol stations in our townships and in the villages have been there over the years, and they are, and I don't, without any doubt, can tell you now, they're not owned by people from those communities. Yes, some of them are Black owned, but they're not owned by the people from those communities. But who buys and who spends money in those petrol stations? It's the people in those communities. What do you find in their shop? Nothing that comes from the townships, nothing that comes from that community. Why is that so? Why would we allow and continue to allow that to happen? You go to the spas and the pick and pays that are flooding our townships in the malls, there is nothing that's manufactured by the people from those townships. How could we ever talk about economical emancipation if we are not giving our small micro manufacturers an opportunity to sell their products? When I talk about shelf space, don't misunderstand me. I'm not only talking about pick and pay, Spazanyama and Chisanyama and I'm talking even about the schools. The schools, as they open on the 1st, they are told, and we've been told, every kid will be offered 2 masks, face masks. Where will these be coming from? Who will be supplying them? Is this not an opportunity for the township manufacturers to actually supply those schools? We're talking about hospitals and clinics where we're talking about taxi ranks where our people are. The Minister of Transport spoke not so long ago that he needs 14 million masks. Where is he sourcing them? Yes, he did say he instructed the Director General, we heard him on TV, to make sure that the goggles in the township benefit. Which of those goggles have benefited? We want, and maybe we should get to a point where we are demanding this. As township entrepreneurs, as micro manufacturers, it's about time we actually walk the talk and close and get to those gates and make sure there's no kid that walks into that school without a mask purchased or supplied by the local business in that community.
But that will only work, Mahapa, when the manufacturers, when the suppliers are put together as a consortium of some sorts, and they can lobby, because as individuals, it's not going to work. And I suppose that's why you're doing what you're doing.
And we've said it. And I shared this with you when we're talking about Proudly South Africa. What they've come up with is something that we've long been putting in place. We already have just within Johannesburg. And yes, we have 1 or 2 in KZN and 1 in Polokwane or so. We've got about 26 registered small micro enterprises that are manufacturing masks. Just between them, they employ about 75 people. I've got their database as I talk to you, fully registered and compliant. And they are producing some of the finest masks as you see. Here's one. Josie FM has gotten that from them. And you've got local manufacturers. And all I'm saying is that these people are compliant and they are able to do this. And we built what we call COVID-19
there we go with your connection again, Mr. Mahapa. Your connection is failing us again. Oh, and I had
anticipate you now are 8, and we believe it came and left.
We lost you for a second there. The connection was not good, but it does seem that you're back again. So please continue where you left off. No.
Should be there now.
Okay, I can hear you now. Oh, technology is gonna kill me. Let me ask you a follow-up question. What we missed, we missed. Let me ask you a follow-up question. Is it? I mean, let's create this cocoa. You know, the cocoa Tandi, somewhere in Limpopo, who produces tea.
Yeah.
Cocoa Tandi has to battle
Yeah.
against the big producers of tea, who get into those shelves, the big shelves, and they can outprice her out of the market. They can outmarket her, and all those things. How do we make sure? I mean, other than lobbying, and I promise you, the lobbying is the right thing, and I this platform will help with the lobbying. I want to support this program to lobby government and corporates to buy from our people. But it is going to be difficult, though, to lobby a Unilever to price itself above Cocoa Tandi.
Runs throughout the world, everywhere else, even during 1920 when the economy was struggling with the pandemic then, every government has always protected its own people and has always helped the manufacturers to penetrate markets. It is within our rights and our power to simply regard those filling stations in our townships as part of products or as facilities that are sitting on our land. And I'm using the word land deliberately and intentionally. Anything that's built in the townships, it's sitting in the property and the land of the community. We should therefore be able to protect what sits in those shelves. If you go into a filling station and you find a toilet paper in there, you don't ask who made the toilet paper. As it is now, we go into most of those filling stations, we pay far more than we would normally pay in any other shop. And that's been the rule. And so we're saying all those stores should actually protect the products that are coming from those communities simply by putting them on the shelves. And our people will definitely buy them. As you are saying, as we go out and talk to our people and the communities will support them. The biggest thing that we are faced with is excuses that are coming in from all corners of the country. Long before we're being told that big companies don't know where to find Black executives, Black engineers, so and whoever that are qualified, whereas they were there and sitting there. Even today, we've decided to take the step to put together these manufacturers so that nobody can complain to say we don't know where to find them. We've got them. So you just go on to one stop and you'll find them and we'll deliver them to you. We'll deliver the product and the quality. If we struggle, we'll go to SABS, who will basically, as a government entity, will have to do something about it. UBank has got the funding, we'll go there. Small business development has got the funding, we'll go there.
What about the equipping of the small and micro entrepreneurs themselves? You know, some of them have not had any training. They need a bit of coaching in pricing, in marketing, in sales. Would Buy Township movement help them with those things too?
It's glad that you're asking that question. As it is, we've just put together over and above those 20 SMMEs. We are sitting with about 100 registered entities that we are getting on with them from next week with training. And it's not the first time. We've done this in Belfast with a funding from Exaro. We've done the same thing in Lephalale with a similar funding. We've done the similar training with Gauteng Enterprise Propeller. There's been training in this country of SMMEs for as far as you can imagine. From the day even far back before the Department of Small Business was ever established, all what has been happening was to train small businesses. How long are we going to be trained for before we actually are allowed to earn a living? We are saying we've got sufficient people that are skilled and trained. They've done this on their own funding. They've done this with support from government and private sector. We are saying we are ready now. We're demanding space and we're demanding to be actually given an opportunity to showcase exactly what we've been trained for. I'll keep on talking until tomorrow.
on Instagram, Just Teaser, and I suspect Just Teaser works with you, says Gogo must focus on making the tea, and Uhuru Shop and Bai Township will go to the customers. I like that, because if we centralize the frontline work and everybody else does their work in the background, then it's easy. We can even then, and I'm saying we as if I work with you, there's even an opportunity then to brand all the products the same, maybe under Bai Township or Bai Village or whatever they're called. They're out there. Gogo gets her piece of the tea that she makes. Sipo gets the piece of the mask that he makes. Is that how it's going to work?
Yes, sir. If you look at Proudly South Africa, it accredits and does buy local brands. But
Yes.
all those are big business brands. We as Bai Township, Bai Village, we've positioned ourselves to deal with micro enterprise brands. And so, yes, we are saying whoever that produces a product, produce it, focus on it. You need help, we'll help you with whoever else that we can get to ensure that your product is quality and to ensure that your packaging is up to standard and even the elements of pricing. Once we've done that, as he's already said, Uhuru Shop with Tiro is a partnership that we've got. It's already going online. It's already got most of these products. We've got about 380 products in the store. We are saying our people are ready, and therefore all we need to do is to find space. And we're not asking for this space anymore. We actually come the 1st of June, we're gonna take over the space. We demand the space, and as I'm saying, those shelves in the township, if those shelves in the filling stations are not gonna be giving us space, there'll be no filling station that sells petrol in the township. That's all what it's gonna come up to. Equally with the schools, if we walk to a school and we do not find comfort in the fact that that school is procuring locally, that school will not operate. If what this country to stand up and support the small businesses in the township and make sure they get the share of whatever was promised by the president when this program was being launched.
Well, again, you know, the connection has not been good, Tata Mahapa. So I'm going to have to conclude this conversation and ask you, how do people then get hold of you? People who are listening to us are either manufacturers or they know somebody who manufactures Vaseline somewhere in the middle of Mutu or some, you know, how do they get a hold of Bai Township, Bai Village?
We've got a website called bytownship.co.za. Number 2, they can simply send me an SMS or WhatsApp on 082-730-4112, 082-730-4112, and we will get hold of them and be able to assist in making sure that their products are incorporated with all other products that we have. I mean, as it is, you're sitting with mines all over this country that are employing thousands of people. All those people have got to have face masks. Why aren't we able to use those communities to provide them with face masks, for starters, and the schools?
To use social media language, Mahapa Mpitso, you're doing God's work. I hope that you can, you know, for me, even if this benefits 100 micro manufacturers in 1 year,
yes.
Before we know it, it will be 200,000 in 10 years and 1 million in another 10 years. I wish you all the strength. I thank you for taking this job. It's not going to be a popularity contest. You are going to be harmed. There are people who are going to try and stop you, but I wish you strength, and I truly believe in what you do.
Thank you so much, Rams. We really appreciate your support. You've been there standing behind all the small businesses in the communities. We can only hope and trust that the Lord also keeps you so that we can push this to a point where we can say some movement and some steps have been successful or doors have opened, and we can come back to your show and say, here is Gogo Thandi. She's now able to pay for a school fees for the kids because of the programs that we've done together. We really appreciate it, and we're asking our people in the communities to realize that the small businesses are choking and they're dying while there's a lot of money being spent in those communities. Thank you so much.
Mahapa Mpitso, chairperson of Bai Township Movement. Thank you very much for the time. Tomorrow, It's Motivation Friday, and Dr. T is back, and he'll be talking about the power of a positive belief system. Join us at 7:30 so that you can start your weekend on a high with Dr. Thando Sibanda, 7:30 p.m. on Instagram Live, Facebook Live, and YouTube. Thank you very much to everybody who participated on the platforms. I am not going to acknowledge you by name today. There was no question asked, so I don't feel guilty about not reading your questions, but I do acknowledge your comments. And you love what Pai Township is doing. I hope you support them. I hope you alert people about what they're doing so that they can register more of micro businesses that would never make it if they did not have this opportunity. From me and Frederick Mabizela, who was on strike tonight, we shall see you tomorrow evening, same time, same place. Good night and God bless.
Hey.